Boom, boom. This is Kendra, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Azur laying up today. So, in keeping with our theme of reviewing the main ships in the game, today we're going to take a look at HMS Monarch. Now, Monarch is a priority ship, and what that means is it takes a special requirements to design and build her as she runs off of a different set than most ships. As you can see right here, it requires blueprints to build her. You can't really see the setting here. So let me see. I'm working on FDG right now. We'll just use her as being. This is what it looks like when she's being built. The reason priority ships take so long to be built is because of the requirements in terms of gathering experience. So since Monarch was HMS Monarch is a Royal Navy ship, I have to use a Royal Navy fleet. Priority 1 ships only require 1 million EXP. This is a priority, so that's why it says 1.2. But then you've got this same data collection where you got to get 2.4. Now Monarch is a priority 1, so hers was 2 million. So I basically had to get to make Monarch, I had to get 3 million experience points. So it takes a really long time to do that. You have to use the ships over and over and over again. It can only use Royal Navy ships to do it. So, which is fortunate for me because I had a Royal Navy fleet. It was my first full fleet with Queen Elizabeth, Warspite, Hood, Belfast, Edinburgh, and Javelin. That was the first fleet that I had, and I was using it for both PvE and PvP. So I was using it all the time, and that enabled me to get the experience needed. But it still took, a few months. And then even after you get the ship, you've got to gather blueprints for the ship, and you've got to get it's 500. I think it's like almost 600 blueprints. And the only way that you can get blueprints at the time, the only way you could get blueprints was through the lab in the research academy, and in doing them through here, as you can see, you get blueprints. They've sped that up a little bit in the fact that you can now have a focus. And what this means is now you can have a special ship to focus on, and each time you run, you see before, each time you would run a research commission, you might get a blueprint for the ship that you're working on, but you might not. You might get it for another ship that you're not working on. So it took a really long time. I'm sorry, it took me 6 to 7 months. And I was running researches two or three times a day. I mean, I would run one in the morning, log on in the afternoon, cancel that, complete that one, start another one, and then and log on once in the evening, and So I was really focusing on doing it, and it still took me 6 to 7 months to get all the blueprints because it's like almost 600, and you were getting them just a few at a time. Every now and then you'd get one of the researches that would actually, have her as a spec. When you see, if you see her, if you take in here and look like this one right here, you're guaranteed to get a blueprint for a Buki because you see a Buki in here. So sometimes you would see Monarch right here, and you click on that one, and you'd be guaranteed to get a couple Monarch blueprints. But those don't happen all the time because there's a lot of priority ships. So, but now they got this research focus where you can actually focus on just one ship. So now what happens each time I complete a research, I'll be guaranteed to get, I've got it set to rune right now, so I'm guaranteed to get a rune blueprint. 1 or 2 or 3 maybe guaranteed. Plus a blueprint, I might get another rune blueprint here, but I myself might get a blueprint for somebody I'm not doing. But irregardless, I still get a blueprint for rune, and now I'm allowed to use that until I get to 300. I'm doing rune right now. Monarch's completely finished. And Rune is the one I'm working on right now for my German fleet. So that's what that's what a priority ship is. So it's a veteran ship. Now, for veteran players is what it used to be, but it's becoming more something that you can do when you get into the actual game. The first thing that's required is, of course, you have to be able to fleet tech points. So let's go into something here. See right here, like you have to have 700 Royal Navy tech points to develop the ship. If you don't have the tech points, you can't actually develop the ship. And I've been playing the game for quite some time, which is why I have all the tech points. I focused on my fleet. So yeah, there's not anything that I can't build in the game right now. But until you have these tech points, you can't build the ship. So it takes a while to build up those tech points. The way you build up tech points is by limit breaking ships for that faction. So if you want to get Eagle Union points, you need to limit break Eagle Union ships. And the same for Ironblood. You have to limit break Ironblood ships. And one of the reasons Ironblood is so difficult is because there's not many Ironblood ships that you can focus on right now. They're starting to come out. They're coming out with a lot more. And there's a lot more SR ships, so you can get to where you want to. But that's the way. So that's what Monarch is. So why is Monarch a priority ship? So the reason she's a priority ship is because now Monarch did not take part in World War II. She was decommissioned before World War II. Monarch is a World War I ship. She was built right before World War I, and you're thinking, why would they have a World War I ship have such pronounced power? And she is a beast. She is one of the top 5 games in the game, and you should definitely be building her. But why would she be considered a priority ship? So an important ship, because the priority ships are the best ships in the game. And the reason is because she was originally built in the 1910s. Okay, she was built in 1910. But she was one of the second of 4 Orion-class dreadnought battleships. Now, dreadnoughts were the first ships that had an impact on naval warfare, and that was because of their all-out armaments. They were just armed to the heap. I mean, they just built these ships and they just stacked guns on them left and right. Massive guns. At the time, they were massive, and they also were steam powered. So at the time, steam was just becoming a feature in naval warships. So they were at the time the most powerful ships in the ocean. It also touched off a sort of naval arms race between Germany and England at the time. Germany was up and coming, and England was at the time the head of they had the best navy and the most powerful navy on the planet. So this set it up, and the Orion class was even different because the Orion class was the first battleships to put 13.5-inch guns on the ship, and they put several of these guns on the ship. So that's why it's translating into one of the most powerful ships in Azur Lane, because when she was built, she was one of the most powerful ships in the game. So that's the theme behind that. Now, in terms of military service, Monarch really didn't have a lot. She spent the bulk of her career assigned to the Home and Grand Fleets, and the Home Fleet is just the Royal Navy fleet that operates just in United Kingdom territorial waters. The Grand Fleet was the actual fleet that was used during World War I. She was in that fleet, but she didn't face a whole lot of battle. I mean, she participated in a failed attempt to the Royal Navy intelligence got intelligence that Germany was going to bomb Scarborough and Hartlepool and Whitby in the late 1914, and they sent out the Grand Fleet, which Monarch was a part of, to try to intercept the German ships. It didn't really go too well. The fleets contacted each other, but nothing came of anything. So it was basically a failed mission, so to speak. On the 8th of August in she was actually, one of the things that happened she was conducting gunnery practice in Fair Isle when she was unsuccessfully attacked by a submarine fired torpedo. But this area was a little bit far west from where German U-boats were patrolling, so they're thinking that it was a false alarm. The U-boat U-15 had been known to come close to that area, so they think maybe that was her. But she was sunk the next day with all hands lost, so we'll never know if that actually occurred. The only other real action she got, and the only time she actually fired her guns, was in the Battle of Jutland, which was in World War One, and then she on May 31st, the Grand Fleet departed. 16 dreadnoughts and 6 pre-dreadnoughts departed they intercept the High Seas Fleet, which was the German fleet. Like I said, they decrypted German radio traffic and plans of an operation. So they sortied the fleet, and the fleet went out now, and they did actually contact the German fleet this time, so they did manage to engage. And Monarch was a 6th ship in the battle line. You know, when before ships engage, they steam toward the enemy in a straight line, and then they fan out to form peripheral, so that they could start firing their guns to get shots. She was the sixth ship in the head of the battle line during the deployment, and during the first stage she fired 3 salvos of armor-piercing capped shells from her main guns at a group of 5 battleships. Okay, and she scored 1 hit on SMS Koenig, the German SMS Koenig. She was a German, and a Koenig's in the game actually, but she's a common ship, so she's not, But anyway, she got hit, and it knocked out Koenig's 15 her 5-point-inch main guns. She only had small guns, which is why she's a common ship. And disabled 3 boilers and started several small fires. So that's not bad. And then she also engaged another German ship called the Lutzow, and she hit her with 5 salvos of AP shells and straddled her with the last 2 salvos. So she made some pretty good hits. Lutzow was also fired on by Orion, Orion is one of Monarch's sister ships, another Orion class dreadnought. And she was hit like 5 times between the sisters. Knocked out a couple of her guns, knocked out the power, fair amount of flooding. So, pretty good shot. But that was the last time that Monarch fired her shells during the battle. And she fired 53 of her 13.5-inch APC shells. So that was really pretty much what that. After that, she was just sent back to the Grand Fleet. They were sortied a couple of times, but miscommunications and mistakes, they never managed to intercept the German fleet again. So basically, after that, she was paid off in June 13th, 1923, and she was converted to a target ship. That's right, she became used for target practice. And she was finally sunk by the Revenge and Hood. Hood and Repulse, which are Revenge-class battleships. They opened fire on her with their 15-inch guns, and they hit her a bunch of times. It took about 9 hours of shelling before they actually sank her. But yeah, she did go down, so she was sunk by her own ships used for target practice. So that's what we got. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we got here in terms of the ship. Okay, Monarch is one of the most powerful ships in the game. She should be your first priority in the priority ships because of this. So if you take a look at her skill set, first of all, her stats are all above average. Okay, these are all above average stats. Okay, the main gun, she has an excellent main gun efficiency stat as well too. It's one of the highest in the game as well too, which just makes her even more powerful. Okay, so all of these stats are pretty much high. The only thing, priority ships don't have any luck, so you have to do the fate simulation to get luck, so they're never going to have a high luck, but that's the only downside to a priority ship. But in other terms, she's one of the most powerful ships in the games. She has heavy armor. All these stats are above average. Okay, so this first skill is Monarch. This is an interesting skill. It says when this ship fires a salvo, 70% chance to fire a special barrage, and it decreases the speed of enemies hit by the barrage. Now, you have to understand that this barrage, it's an 8-piece shell barrage, and it deals massive damage to medium and heavy armor ships. And the reason that is important is because 7 out of the 8 bosses in story chapter 12 and 13, which is where it gets really hard, are medium or heavy armor bosses. So she's designed It's almost like she was written specifically for stories of after 12 and 13, because she does massive damage against medium heavy armor, because she's heavy armor and her guns are have a heavy armor modifier, medium and heavy armor, which allows her to do more damage to those ships. So she doesn't do much damage against light armored ships because her modifier is targeted against medium and heavy armor ships, and that's where she does her damage. And it's an AP shell, so it does a lot of damage. As you can see, you definitely want to outfit her with piercing shells, because that just does a massive amount of damage. Okay, and then this here is another excellent skill. Okay, so this is when this ship's hit point falls below 20%, it restores 15% of its max hit point over 10 seconds. Now, the reason this skill is so important is because this does not require you to be hit. Most of the other healing that other ships have, they have to be hit with something before they'll start healing. This is not the case. Okay, when this kicks in, it goes, and it does not require her to be hit to activate. Okay, and so it restores 15% of its max over 10 seconds. It can only activate once per down. And then this right here is another good thing. Additionally, for every 1% of max hit points lost since the start of the battle, increases the ship's reload by 1. So this is an extremely important skill, not just for PvE, but mainly in PvP, where firing those extra 1 or 2 shots can decide the battle. Because her reload is faster, she fires more shots. You can usually get it 1 or 2 more shots per battle than other ships. And in PvP, that's extremely important, because that can usually decide who wins the actual game, or who actually wins the actual battle. So as you can see, she's designed. She's all facets of the game. She is extremely excellent in all facets. So you definitely want to craft her, and you definitely want to max her out, because she will definitely bring any type. Any fleet, but she excels, of course, in HMS fleet, just because of the buff that Queen Elizabeth puts out. I mean, this is just a buff on an already powerful ship, making her almost OP. When she first came out, when the Priority 1 ships first came out, they've got Priority 2 ships now and Priority 3 ships now. But when she first came out, she was the most powerful ship in the game, bar none. She was OP when she first came out. She's still super powerful. And she still would, from a battleship perspective, she's still OP, but not in the terms of, there's ways to counter, like you got FDG, and you've got Georgia and Seattle, other ships which do a lot more power, or not. No, I'm sorry, they do a lot of power, but it's comparable. Or FDG, of course, does more power than everybody, but she's the only ship that does that. But the new ships, the Seattle, they have similar stats and similar damage, but she also has the healing skill, which makes her still one of the most powerful ships in the game. So she's definitely, in my thing, I'd say she's probably 2 or 3 on my list. I mean, I use her in PvP on my HMS fleet, and in my main fleet that I'm clearing 12 and 13 with, she is in that fleet as well. So it's an extremely powerful ship, and you definitely want to take the time to build her, but just get started on it, because it takes a little while. Now, so let's take a look at, as I said previously, what takes so long is to get the 3 million experience that you have to farm to get to complete the requirements to actually build the ship. There is a skill. If you look right here, I've already completed it, but there's a quest right here, training, that you can do, which will give you some of these, where are they at here, combat data packs. This is a good way to get that you can get that 3 million experience if you complete that quest, if you complete that training twice. Because once you complete it once and hit complete, it'll reset itself, and you can do it once more before it goes away. You'll get enough to complete that 3,000 just from doing those quests. Okay, I've still got some left over. I used all of these on Rune. I did not have to do any experience fielding on Rune. I used all of these packs and was able to get the 3 million on Rune, who's another Priority 1 ship, with these data packs. So go focus on Monarch, as she is the best that you can get on the Priority 1. You don't want to focus on Rune right now because the German fleet is still in the throes of being redesigned. You want to focus on Monarch first and use those data packs that you get from this quest up, training quest up here, and you can do it, and you'll be able to get her built and bam, right away, and you'll be able to start earning the blueprints to fully complete her development. Okay, so you definitely want to do it, and that's the easy way to do it. Priority 1 ships right now with those data packs, that's pretty much one free ship, one free priority ship that you can build. Okay, so you definitely want to focus on it. All right, so that's all for Monarch today. But yeah, like I say, excellent ship, definitely one of the most powerful ships in the game. And when she first came out, she was OP, and I think she's still in my book OP. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. Remember, put a like on the video if you like it, and remember to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell ding ding beside, and you'll be notified each time I drop a video. So this is Ken Rare in the corner, signing out.